Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with the daily technical update. It is Tuesday the 6th of May and this is an educational video. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended or planned during this. It's purely for educationals only. So today we'll start with Berkshire Hathaway, the B share. Let's see how market reacted after it was announced that Warren Buffett is stepping down. And the market didn't take that too well. You can see gaps open with a gap lower. So there was quite a bit of a sell-off. And how about we add some volume to it? And let's see, you see there was actually massive amount of selling pressure yesterday. More than 16 million shares traded hands, which is way more than usual. So that was not well received, but it was. I mean, he's an old man. He's done well, so it wasn't that big of a surprise that it would occur sometime. However, we are still in a bullish trend, and if it can close, Berkshire B can close this gap here from yesterday, then we could see new highs. However, we can see that we also had a sell-off here a few weeks ago and about a month ago also. So if we see a close below 4,998, then we could see a bearish trend unfold. For now, there is still a slight positive sentiment on the daily, indicating likely higher levels, but look out for 498 to begin with. On the weekly, we can see there's massive divergence here. Market price has moved up, but the relative strength index has declined. So that's a little bit heavy on that one. We are in an exhaustive mode, so maybe there is the tide is turning. The overall indices, S&P 500 was a little bit lower yesterday, but not much activity. Still RSI here, as we can see on the daily, has was projected at the 60 threshold, where market also was rejected at the resistance 5,695. Also here on the weekly, we can see that it was just trading around the 61.8 retracement of the entire sell-off there back in April. So a little bit, quite a bit of strong resistance that it is facing. Here short term, we can also see the CFD is also still showing negative sentiment. So I think we'll see a few days with setbacks hitting the market. Maybe not massive selling, but still. We have Nasdaq 100 that after rejected Friday at the 200 moving average, just below the resistance at 20,292. Here we saw that the Nasdaq actually closed above the 60 threshold Friday, so there's a little bit divergence between Nasdaq and S&P 500. I would say I trust more the S&P 500, but let's see about that. So we have the pre-market also setting back a little bit, back below this minor support here at 19,868, and we can see the 55 moving average still declining here, dragging it down a little bit. So not that strong a push here lately, and I think we'll see a correction. The Dow Jones tried once again to close the gap, but yes, it spiked above, but it didn't close above. So I think here in the next few days we'll see it setting back, and we're also a little bit lower here at pre-market. So expect a little bit of a setback here the next few days. It needs to close above 41,383 to close that gap and push higher. Hang Seng Index is up 1% here in the Asian session, of course. 61.8 retracement, just below the 55 moving average at 22,730. Very close to RSI breaking above 60 threshold. I think it will happen, but we could also see a little bit of a setback here before maybe next push higher. The moving averages are all rising, so indicating we're likely to see high levels on Hang Seng, but maybe a little bit of a setback before that occurs. The EUROSTOXX 50 unchanged this morning here, just above the 55 moving average, which is actually declining, and the RSI, it seems like it can't really close above the 60 threshold. You see it is just below, and we could also see a little bit of a setback here the next few days. How big it will be is, of course, still up in the air, but we can kind of guesstimate, say, if we are at a peak here, short term at least, well, maybe down to 5,000. I'm not quite sure we'll get all the way down to there really, because we have a little bit of support in this range here around 5,100, 5,125. The DAX index very close to its previous all-time highs here, so it could push and test it, but I think we'll see a little bit of a setback. RSI in a positive sentiment here, no divergence indicating likely higher levels, but I think we will see a little bit of a setback next few days. How big it will be, we can only guesstimate, but there's strong support here, 22,287. Euro dollar still above the support here at 112.40. Maybe it will start pushing higher. If it breaks below, well, then we are looking at 110.55, and I think we will see it pushing higher. The cable sterling dollar support 132.34 here, around that level. If it takes out that, well, the next is 131.60 and possibly down to around 130, which is the 61.8 retracement. If it takes out the previous peak here at 134.45, well, then there's potential up to 136 and higher. Euro sterling, not much to say. Strong support here around 84.75, 84.65 in this range here. In general, the FX market has been fairly quiet. We have dollar yen sliding back after failing to get back above 146. It was just below it, and in this region around 50% of this sell-off here. What we can actually do here also, we can then add a Fibonacci down to that, try to get a little bit of sense, and I think we will see a push down to 142.20, and then we can add a horizontal line where we have some support here around 141.98, so 142 in this region here, really key support for dollar yen. If it takes out that, well, then downtrend has resumed. There's still negative sentiment on the still a sideways range here on euro yen. It did take out these peaks here, but it didn't get up to the 165, so setting back also there. Strong support here around 161, where we also have the moving averages coming up, adding to that support area. The Aussie yen got rejected at the upper falling trend line and the 786 retracement here at 93.67, basically bang on, almost 93.72, and now setting back support at 90.59, minor support, but if it takes out that, well, then downtrend is likely to resume. Negative sentiment on the RSI still in play. It got rejected at 60 threshold, indicating we could see it setting back lower. Also, the 55 moving average is declining. The sterling yen that got rejected at the 786 retracement here at 193.5, support here at 189.90. If it takes out that, well, then we have a downtrend or bearish trend to resume, with a push lower towards 188, 187. Aussie dollar, well, slowly pushing higher and still potential up to 65.5, where we have some resistance coming in, minus resistance coming in, could push up to 65.70. Moving averages are all rising here, the 21, the 55, and the 100, giving it a little bit of foundation. But if it takes out 63.40, well, then it could be in jeopardy, this uptrend there. Dollar Canada still forming this wedge-like pattern, where downtrend exhaustion seems to be the name of the game. We have RSI that is slightly rising, meaning that we have a trend exhaustion indication. So if it breaks above and closes above the falling trend line, and especially above 139 and a change, then we are in for a push up to 140, 140 and a quarter. Sterling Canada, not much to say. Yeah, it closed above the support here at 183. So it's still in this range bound here. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, expect to push down to 181, possibly lower. But for now, the uptrend is intact. However, the RSI is still negative sentiment, so it could weigh on it. So there's so divergence between all the indicators. The 55 is moving up, the 100 and the 200 moving up, but RSI is not really agreeing with this, and it needs to take out, at least I will adjust this and say it needs to take out 186 and close above here will change the picture with a bullish scenario. Swiss franc, Euro Swiss testing 61.8, retracement at 93. You can see just a few cents from it actually dipping a little bit below here a couple of times. If it takes it out these lows from today and yesterday, then we could see the 92 down here be tested again. There will be a little bit of support here at the 786 retracement at 92.86, but downtrend is back in play for sure. Negative sentiment on the RSI, no divergence indicating lower levels. Dollar Swiss still can't get away from this 83.35. And it could resume downtrend, and if it takes out that massive candle there, to the downside, 81.20, I think we'll see a push below 80. The dollar index, more or less the same picture, range bound between 98.68 and 100.32. Gold bounced strongly yesterday from 3,200, so I have removed the Fibonacci retracement that we saw here and added this one, and it's currently testing the 61.8 retracement at 3,386, above minor resistance there. So it seems like we are back in a positive move. If it could push higher if it takes out the 3,386, let's see, 3,887 actually. Well, there is potential to 3,336 and possibly resuming uptrend with a new all-time high towards 3,600. That is in the cards unless it takes out 3,200 to the downside. We have silver also pushing higher after it rebounded from the 100 moving average. RSI is still negative, so it needs to close above 60 threshold. If it does that, then I think we will see silver pushing higher above 34 towards 35. Copper, well, it's still in a little bit of wait and see mode. Negative sentiment on the RSI, but holding on above 460 and 450 here. That is the key support. If it takes out that, then I expect a major sell-off. But let's see here in the coming days. If it can get back in the cloud and also take out the 496, then we could see a push towards previous peaks there. But for I think we'll see it a little bit range bound in this area between 450 and 496, 500 for the foreseeable future. Energy and crude oil. We have the WTI crude oil bouncing. It almost touched, but it didn't get all the way down to the previous lows there, and now it's bounced, and I think we'll see a bounce up while we're very close to the 38.2 retracement, maybe up to the 61.8 at 61.25. In this region here, there will be some resistance. The Brent crude oil also bouncing. If it takes out the lows, both for WTI and Brent from yesterday, expect to push much lower towards 55 and in that region. I think we will see a bounce up to around 63.79, where we have some resistance in this area here, possibly spiking up to the 61.8 at 64.78. European nat gas also bounce here, and I think we could see a bounce up possibly to the 38.2 retracement at 35.80. If it takes out the lows here at 31.33, then we're looking at levels around 30 euros. US nat gas rejected at the 100 moving average and the 61.8 retracement here at 372. If it takes out the spike up there from yesterday at 375, then I think we're looking at 395. Otherwise, we could slide back a little bit. We also negative sentiment still and no divergence, indicating that we could see lower levels in the future. But for now, we are in a strong bullish move. So let's see where it can end. Treasury yields, US Treasury yields keep bouncing. The 10-year is pushing towards the 100 moving average, and the previous little peak here at 443, a close above that, then we can see a push towards 450, 460 possibly, especially if RSI gets back above 60 threshold. Could also be rejected here and still be range bound between 410 and 440 area. So this level here will be key. The 2-year also keeps bouncing towards the 395, but all moving average declining, so I think we will see a setback fairly soon. The European yields, here we have the EU 10-year yields with bounced it off the 243 and keeps bouncing towards 262 and 55 moving average here, so around 38.2 retracement should be within reach here. If it takes out 243, well, then we are looking at 232 support. The UK also bouncing, pushing towards 456. 38.2 retracement here, could bounce further to 465, which is a 61.8 retracement. Bitcoin still setting back a little bit, but still keeping also above at 91,685. Minor support. If it takes out, well, then we have another situation with the lower levels, and let's just add Fibonacci to this uptrend there. We could see a push down to the 38.2 retracement at 88,960. But for now, it's still in this uptrend here. The Ethereum just stepping sideways, so it's really boring, to say the least. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day, and talk to you again tomorrow.